For all things great iron and hard top, it's Kev Lewis since the Sandbox.
Since the Sandbox, we are back down the studio. Back for another week of great content coming for you. This week, NBA, talking a little playoff. It's a little different episode. I don't know if we've ever done this before. It's the playoff confidence episode. So we'll just go down the list. We got a team or two each who we feel confident is gonna play well in the playoffs. A team we're a little worried about, and then one team we're kind of on the fence about. Could go either way. I want to save mine because save the best for last. So if one of you two want to jump in, we can start off with the confident teams if we want.
Go ahead, Lou.
All right, the team I'm confident in the most, I would say, is Philly. So far, just because they'll have home court advantage. I think they match up well with everybody. And I just don't see... I'm not worried about them in any way, shape, or form, really.
All right. I'll say a team from the West. I have a team from the West and the East that I'm confident in. And these aren't, the top teams, but they're teams that should be talked about with kind of the same respect. And in the West, the reason why I have this team and I'm so confident about this team is the Clippers.
Okay.
It's because I feel like the pressure's not really on them. And the reason why I say that is because they were able to play their ball the way they wanted to, how many games they wanted to play, however, without it being significantly detrimental because other players, other stars in the NBA missed a lot of time this year too.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's why I'm extremely confident with the Clippers. I mean, Kawhi is still a top 5 player in the world right now, realistically, and we can't forget how good he is in the playoffs. And Paul George is playing significantly better than how he was last year. That's why I think you got to be extremely confident in the Clippers, and I think they can give any team in the West a run for their money.
Yeah, no, that's a good one, too. And I definitely feel you about the pressure off because I feel like last year was the whole, battle of L.A. Who's going to be the L.A., you know what I mean?
It was.
And, it still kind of is, but it's now, like you said, everyone, LeBron's been hurt, AD's been hurt, KD, Kyrie. So it's I know what you mean. It's not, no, the spotlight's not really on them for all the load management and all that. But no, I'm with Lou on this one. I got Philly. As you guys know, I've been high on Philly pretty much all season.
But he won't go there.
No, Lou literally won't go there.
That's crazy.
If you told Lou you have to go to that dark alley that you might get jumped in or go to Philly, he'll go to the dark alley because he doesn't want to go to Philly.
He's just saying.
But no, I mean, and the thing with the 76ers is they're one of those teams where every year we're all right, they're gonna blow it. But I feel like if there's one year that they could actually make it to a finals, it's this year. I feel like Embiid, obviously we all know, is playing at an MVP level. Ben Simmons is finally coming, full circle. Still can't shoot. Hate to see it, but it is what it is. And I just feel like the role players they have around them, I think they finally found that 5. You know what I mean? Even in the Jimmy Butler days, it was and Jimmy Butler's a better all around player than Tobias. But the three of them didn't fit. You know what I mean? I feel like now they got Curry and Green that can stretch the floor. Doesn't clog up the middle as much for Embiid and Simmons. So definitely good confidence there. But I'm going to be selfish this time around. We'll jump into the teams we're worried about. And I got 2 teams. One of them is obviously the Celtics, the hometown team. And I'm more worried. It's more of I don't want to see them lose type of thing. You know what I mean? Whereas my second team is a high seed in the West. And I feel like in the playoffs, they're not going to play up to that, especially depending on who gets, who the matchup is. And that's the Phoenix Suns. And you guys know, it kills me to say that. Love the Phoenix Suns.
Mr. D-Book
love D-Book.
himself.
But, I can't imagine that if a team God forbid the Lakers drop a couple games late and end up in a 7 seed or a team like that. It's hard to imagine, even with the Suns being the 2, that they're going to beat a team like that. You know what I mean? Because the West is weird this year. There's teams that are in the bottom of the standings that should be at the top team there. You know what I mean? So it's weird. And I feel
that.
I mean, I definitely think is there teams that they can match up with well and beat? Yes. But I just feel like it all depends on the seeding. And that's why I'm worried about them because they're such a high seed that I think people are going to kind of
have high expectations.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
they're not going to be a contender, but they'll be a team that can compete in the playoffs. No, I def get that. And an obvious worry, just like you said, I would say the season, not for the reasons that you said, Kev. I just don't think, after seeing the basketball we've been playing, that we're really good enough.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why, because like we're a low seed this year, so like I don't have any expectations. I just don't want to see them lose, but I know they're gonna. That's
like I'd love to come in here and tell you guys that the Celtics are one of the more dangerous teams in the bottom half of the teams that will make the playoffs. Because I truthfully do believe that, but what are we putting that against? You know what I mean? The Celtics have 2 stars compared to a Knicks team that's led by Julius Randle without another star on there, and that's what our competition is. And that should be shame on us. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's embarrassing.
So that's why I'm a little worried about the season. Another team I'm worried about that was a high seed, and we're seeing them starting to drop now, is the Nuggets, and I feel like that's an obvious one. But even with it being that obvious, I feel like it's extremely important to note that team is probably going to be one and done. And if they do anything above that, I mean, that's all kudos to Jokic, depending on whatever he can pull off in his magic bag of tricks. And something I just wanted to touch upon quickly with the confident teams, the team I felt confident about that we didn't mention were the Bucks. And not that I feel confident in them going against like the 76ers or anything like that, but they catch and stride, they're getting hot at the right time. And I definitely think that seeing them go against the 76ers in a series, that would definitely be something. And to know that those 2 teams are going to be there with the Nets, and there's going to be a 4th team involved in that, that's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm worried about the Clippers a little, personally, just because, like, I feel like while every team's getting healthy, like, they're not playing together. You know what I mean? Like, Kawhi's sitting out half the games. Paul George is sitting out half the games. Like, they're still not playing together, like, 100% of the games. And, like, when everyone's healthy in the playoffs, I just think that's scary. I'm not, like, I don't think they're going to get one and done or anything like that. But I am a little worried that they're going to just breeze a little bit and then not be as punctual as they should be for the playoffs. But I mean, I would love to see them make a run. That would be dope. We need the Battle of LA because I don't want to see the Jazz in the Western Conference.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad you said that because that leads me into my on the fence team, and it's the Utah Jazz. And I feel like it's a team that we've been talking about on the fence all year. And even if Mitchell does come back healthy for playoffs, again, still one of those teams where like if they match up against a Laker or Clippers or even some other teams in the West, late in the playoffs. Hard to think that they're going to beat a Lakers team, you know what I mean? Even fully healthy. And like I said, I'm one of those guys that say that the Jazz have depth because they do, but sometimes in the playoffs it doesn't come down to depth. It comes down to who has the best or the 2 best or 3 best players on the court. And it's never going to be them in the West, except for maybe against the very bottom end of the West. But, I mean, think about it. Clippers, Suns, Lakers, like everyone they play is going to have a better player on the court than what the Jazz has. So they're definitely on the fence.
No, I hear that. For a team I have on the fence, I was a little different on the fence because I didn't want to talk about teams that were going to make the top 6 playoffs because they're kind of like a guarantee. They're not really on a playoff fence. But these teams that are either involved in the play-in tourney or might be around like that 6 range, could be working their way in or out. Teams that I wanted to talk about, and I got the Hornets here. Mm-hmm. So obviously we know how unhealthy the Hornets are right now.
Yeah.
They definitely could be playing themselves out of that play-in tourney. They definitely played themselves out of the top 6 seed, and they were at one point 4?
Yeah, I think so.
And that's crazy. I mean, that's great for them, but I don't think LaMelo's going to be able to carry them back into that type of a scenario. And the reason also I say that, Kev, we were just talking about this. I feel like the Bulls, if LaVine gets back, they can get a couple games that might be able to get themselves back in that play-in tourney. Mm-hmm. So that'll definitely be interesting. And the Warriors, I feel like this is a really interesting team when it comes to having them on the fence because this isn't a team that I feel like you would want to play in a play-in tourney. And I'm not saying that they're like a contender or anything like that. I know what you mean, but one
game, Steph Curry.
But that's what I'm saying. You would have to travel to Oracle and play Steph Curry 3 times. And that alone is a bigger threat enough to not want me to do that altogether.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? And
especially the level he's playing at.
Yeah, so. The team that's gonna play against them in the play-in tourney, I mean, good luck if the Warriors get in, obviously. But I think right now, with the way things are looking, that they'll that they'll push. I mean, they'll definitely finish in the top 10.
Yeah.
But we'll see, Kev, because I know you
We'll
had
see.
high expectations for your Pelicans, and right now they're not in. So
Yeah, man.
both of those
Wow.
teams.
Who
What
would've
a
thought?
swing and a miss that was.
Top
No
16.
shit, dude. No shit.
Lou still won't go to Philly though.
I will go to Philly, but the team I'm on the fence about is the Hawks.
Okay,
They're
me
on
too.
a good streak. They have good pieces, but like, how realistic is that in the playoffs when Trae Young's covered by say they play the Bucks first round, and I'm not sold on them either, but Drew Holiday's on him, Giannis is on John Collins. It's like
Yeah, and then
you
Capella's-
lose every matchup
yeah.
possible. You know what I mean? Is Clay Capella really that big of a threat?
No.
You know.
Just on the boards, but when you got Giannis and Brook Lopez, it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter.
So you know what I mean? I'm just worried about them because they have a hot streak. They're young. Like, I wouldn't want to play them in Atlanta in a play-in game, but for a 7-game series, bring it on, dude. They'll
Legit.
get sent right home.
Legit.
Right home.
Send them packing.
Packing. Back
Well-
home to the peaches.
Wow. I get my peaches out in Georgia.
Oh,
There's
some,
a
Little sneak peek, what?
some Kev and Uncle Tony coming soon.
Yes, sir. Very soon.
I hope that we can play that snippet and not get in any trouble. But guys, that's gonna wrap things up for this YouTube episode. This was our NBA confidence meter, talking about our confidence going into the playoffs. And guys, I'm wearing my Giant sweatshirt because it's draft week, so we want to make sure that we're getting all of our draft coverage in. Me and Lou about to run through a mock right after this. You guys know the deal. So make sure you're checking out our draft coverage. Go to our podcast. Make sure you guys are giving us that 5-star review. Remember, guys, if it ain't 5 stars, we don't want it. Peace out.
For all things great iron and hard top, it's Kevlu and Stephens a Sandbox.